Am I better off building a van myself, or am I better off having the professionals do it? Let's answer that question today by asking some guys that have both done the DIY route and are professional van builders. All right, Bri, you're probably the best person here to ask about this, but we're trying to figure out what are the advantages or disadvantages of going DIY van build versus pro van build.
Well, from building a couple of my own vans, it depends on how much time you want to be away from your friends, your loved ones, your house, your animals, your dogs, and how much stress you want to have versus just taking all of that off your plate, showing up to a finished van. I mean, if I could do it, I would do it.
Yeah, well, and I think you and I are in the same situation on this one where we are both professional van builders, but also DIY van builders. You have a van, I have a van.
Yes.
You've been working on yours for 2 years and it's not done.
Correct.
I've been working on mine for 18 months and it's not done.
Correct.
And it just ends up, the project takes so much more time than you think it does.
Yes.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
And you and I have every necessary tool and everything required to be able to build these, but it's still trying to find that time outside of work to be able to work on the van is challenging, and the project just drags out so much longer than you expect. What are some of the advantages of going with the DIY build?
I always tell people a DIY kind of route is best if you just don't know what you want yet, you know, and you want to at least get your van ready to get out on the road to do a couple simple camping trips, you know, like get a roof fan vent in there, get some insulation and sound deadening in there, a floor in there, swivel seats, some things that, you know, that you can easily get online that are have some pretty simple and quick, like, you know, installation features that you don't need a lot of tools for. And that's kind of what I always try to recommend to people. And then once they get to the point where they actually want to figure out their layout and their huge electrical system of plumbing, that's where you'd probably want to bring in a little bit more professionals. But it is at least get you on the road, get you something that's insulated, sound deadened, you know, some circulation in there, and a little bit of mobility on how to move things around. And I think that's like the perfect DIY person, you know, for that process.
Yeah, and that's always a tough thing, is when you've got this vision in your head of something you want to create, and then trying to translate that to someone else, and then have them actually execute on your vision. Sometimes it's going to be challenging to get that. So you do have to make sure that if you are going to go the pro route, you find a builder that you trust, you've seen the work that they've already done, and exactly aligns with your vision, and that they can communicate back to you what you're looking to do. But if you can't find that, then absolutely do the DIY route if you got the time and the expertise. Give me the pros of going with the DIY van.
DIY van is, I mean, it's empowering because you get to do it yourself and figure things out, troubleshoot on your own, and make it, exactly how you want to.
Yeah, I actually think you brought up a good point on that, is the ability to change it. If you're going with a professional build, kind of what you end up with is, for the most part, what your van's gonna end up like. You're not gonna go in and make changes to it, and you're probably not gonna go back to that professional van builder and be like, ooh, I don't want this. Hey, you know, can you rip this bed out and put a different type of bed in? So most likely what you end up with is what you get. But to your point, when you have a DIY build, you know the ins and outs of everything in that van. And then you, as you evolve in your skill set, it becomes a lot more easy, and it makes more sense to be able to make changes as you evolve as a person or your needs of the van evolve. All right, what are some of the cons of a DIY build?
A lot of headaches.
Unforeseen headaches.
Just so much troubleshooting and mistakes, and extra cost in time and materials.
Definitely, yeah. It's you don't know what you don't know, and so until you start getting in and uncovering what the hidden costs are, or the thing that I think is easy for all of us to undervalue is what our time's actually worth. We've both built a lot of vans, and I still underestimate how long it's going to take me on my personal build to get something done, as I have a van that I've had for over a year that I'm still doing a DIY build on. Because everything takes longer than you think. So
almost twice as long.
Exactly. So when you start to put some monetary value on what your time's worth, it may make more sense to pay somebody to do that. So.
But also like financial costs too, because you're probably going to make mistakes, especially if it's your first build ever, or you're like trying a new layout. Maybe you've built a few vans in the past, but you're trying a new layout on your own as a DIYer. You're probably going to run into mistakes and need to rebuy materials, especially like wood, paint, that kind of stuff, finishing.
All right, your next van, what are you doing? It's tough for you because you are both a pro and a DIY builder, but your next van build, would you pay to have somebody else do it or do it yourself?
Well, I would do it myself.
Starting out as a pro van builder, what are the pros of going with a professional van building company?
For me personally, I definitely think the pros outweigh the cons. As a pro van builder now, you know, I have access to all the tools and equipments that make building a lot easier and smoother and quicker. You know, you have the reassurance that everything's going to be up to par. We also think about how to undo the things that we've done. You know, as DIYs, it's more of like getting it done. Let's crank this out, let's make it, and then worry about the problems and deal with that later. When we go into our layouts, we think about what's the easiest way for us to undo if we need to go in there and make any changes. So pro building is just a little bit safer. You get a peace of mind and you're getting quality across the board, and you get the best bang for your buck, you know?
With serviceability in mind, like,
Yeah.
you know, as a professional building company, we know what breaks, what's going to go wrong, so we make sure that that's really easy to fix those things.
Exactly, that's a huge plus for sure.
All right, now, pros of DIY build.
I would just say having the freedom to express and build however you want. That's probably the only pro I can think of. You know, there's little things that you want to add, like secret cubbies or anything like that, so you can get custom with it.
You're somebody who went and bought a professionally built van from Sandy Vans. You know, you're kind of stuck with going with us as one of the investors in the business, but nonetheless, want to know why you made the decision to go with a professionally built van.
Because you don't have to build it yourself.
All right.
Once upon a time, I bought a 38-foot bus thinking I could build it out. And obviously a van is less real estate, but anyone that's ever built a van by themselves has taken far longer than they would it's always a much bigger undertaking than they expect it to be.
Yeah, I mean,
so for someone like me, that's probably the main reason. Yeah, you don't have to do it yourself. Yeah.
And the time aspect is one of the biggest ones. But you did, at one point, undertake doing a 38-foot bus. What are some of the advantages of going with a DIY build? Why did you make this?
There are none.
None?
No.
Okay.
I'm not the perfect use case because some people like getting handy and like enjoy learning, and it's like a great experience for them. If I could dabble in a build for like a total of 10 hours so that I could say or feel like I was involved, that would give me like that symbolic blood, a little bit of sweat into the build. But I actually see zero advantages of going and building a van by yourself.
Yeah. Once you take
But I am like on the extreme end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? Like some people love that stuff.
Exactly. Whether you're looking to build a van yourself or have a professional do it, Sandy Vans is here to help. If you have any questions, whether you want to go the pro route or you want to go the DIY route, just give us a call. We've got a team here that can help walk you through building your dream van and having a professional build it, or even walking through getting you the parts, knowledge and expertise you need to be able to build your own. So whichever route you choose, we're here to help.